All right, we're back on the E36 turbo today. Now I'm dying to get this thing finished. As you guys know, we made great progress real quick. I mean, a lot of it came together real easily, and I'm real happy, but we still got some work ahead of us. Now, I didn't film yesterday because I was getting the E30 ready for the drift event this Saturday. First one of the season, huge deal, so wish me luck and stay excited for that video. But today, we're gonna get this thing to the point where it's gonna run, or hopefully. We're not gonna start it today. I don't wanna get anyone's hopes up. So the big thing we gotta finish today is the fuel system. Since we are now turboing it and putting on ethanol, we have to change a couple things. So of course, this car is getting spoiled and it's getting the full D-Works treatment. As you guys know, D-Works has been a huge support down here. I've had their stuff on the JZ all last season. It was amazing. I'm absolutely in love with it. So of course, going with it with the E36 was a no-brainer. So what we got is we got a bunch of line, bunch of AN fittings, filter, regulator, pump, and injectors, like literally the whole package. So we'll be going through this stuff one by one as we install it. We got a lot of work ahead of us, so we better get into it right away. We actually got some double vlogging going on today. Special guest, Mr. Michael Devine.
Hi.
I thought you were working for LZ now. What are you doing here?
I'm back home. I got some stuff to finish up, but I'll be back down again there pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna just steal you. How much is he paying you? I'll double it. You guys remember, Mike's actually doing a single turbo conversion on his Soar, not SC300, and he just got back from Justin's getting some custom work done. He's gonna be throwing a front mount on there today, and I'm not gonna be helping because I want to see him do it himself. You got this, kid.
We're good.
You got it.
We're good. I wore my jeans today.
You wore your jeans?
I wore my blue jeans today.
Oh, your mom's gonna be mad you wore your school shoes.
Shut.
All right, boys, here we go. DW1000s, here we go. There's 6 of them, don't worry. So not only are these things capable of ethanol, which is great, because obviously we want to put the car in ethanol, but these are actually direct drop-ins for the E36. They actually sell this as a package. So not only is it the correct height and O-ring and everything to fit in the stock intake, stock fuel rail, it actually comes with an adapter to run the stock harness, which is huge.
So convenient.
So it basically takes this like EV14 style plug, converts it into the old school EV1 ugly ass plug. So we can literally just throw these in, and I'm gonna be utilizing a M50 fuel rail. And what's different about this fuel rail is it doesn't have any regulators built in. It's just a feed and return, easy as that. Go OEM fit, which is awesome. I mean, this sits up, you know, a ½ inch higher because of the adapters, but the EV style clips keep it in place, so I'm not worried. The next piece of the puzzle is gonna be the fuel pressure regulator and then the fuel filter element itself. So we have our fuel filter, which is also capable of running ethanol through it, which is awesome, and it's nice and small, so we can kind of fit this thing anywhere. Then we have our fuel pressure regulator, which is another beautiful piece. And along with this is we have a gauge and all the supporting AN fittings to make this all work. So let's throw these things together and get them ready for the car. All right, so we got both pieces set up. Looks good, right?
It does.
Looks beautiful. I really love the finish that DW uses on all their parts. Now it's time for one of the most, I think the most annoying part is honestly trying to figure out where you want to put your regulator. What makes it really annoying on this chassis is there's like no thread holes on any part of it. I didn't even fill any in. Just BMW tends to put everything on the engine, so there's nothing for me to like bolt this to normally without having to drill through something, and I don't want to do that. So
Too pretty.
it's too pretty. I scoped it out, right? And I found a good spot. I'm thinking we put it, ready for it, Michael?
Yeah.
Boom, right there. What do you think? Not bad, right?
That's perfect.
We can go straight down to the fuel lines, and we can go around back to the fuel rail.
That's perfect.
The only thing is, where do we mount it? Well, good question. There's actually a thread insert in the manifold right there. That should be perfect. You can't see it, but it's like right here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to take the existing L bracket that comes with it, chop it up, bend it up, weld it together, and I think that'll be a good spot for us. What do you think, B? I didn't even realize.
I have no idea what you're doing.
Just say yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, it's a really good idea, man.
Thanks, man. Oh, well, that's a lot of fish eyes. Brian! Whoa, whoa, whoa. I walk away for 10 seconds and what is going on here? It looks pretty official. I see numbers, I see a protractor out.
Trying to make something that is gonna work.
For what?
On the first try. For what? The Nissan, man!
As you guys know, one of the last hurdles of Nissan in terms of getting the chassis ready is actually the trans tunnel. So Brian came in here and actually cleaned up the firewall because if you guys remember, we cut it really rough before just to get the trans in there. So he came in, cleaned it all up, gave us some more flat, manageable edges. And now he's taking that strip of metal and trying to recreate that shape in the strip so he can then weld that strip to the firewall and make himself a nice pedestal to build off of to connect our rear piece. That looks about right.
Looks can be deceiving.
Let's see if I royally messed it up.
Yo, that looks pretty good for. All right, I'm impressed. That was nice. Nice work, Pete.
A little bit of hammer, a little bit of tacky-tack. Now, you can see, like, I designed this to be at a 90-degree angle. So, although it seems like a crazy amount of work, now I'm going to get this thing tacked in and then probably cut every single one of these lines, bend it down, and match the angle of the transmission of it.
It ain't no firewall, but let's get this thing bolted up.
Hey, where's the freaking gabagoo?
All right, so we got it bolted up and it actually looks pretty good there. I'm really happy with that location. So now it's time to start running some lines. So for the damn it, Michael, quiet on set. So now we have two ports coming out of it. One has to go to the rail and one actually has to go to the return line on the chassis. So for the rail, it's super easy. We go from here to this piece right here. So I'm thinking we hit it with that 90, right? Hide underneath this intake a little bit. Can we just take another second to appreciate how nice these things are? I'm so happy with these because honestly, I've only ever used like cheap AN fittings, so like I could just feel the difference instantly. Also need to make a return from the bottom, so we'll just go straight off the bottom. Then we're gonna go to an ethanol sensor, which is easy, just inline, and then we'll go straight to the factory line right here. Let's crimp up some AN lines. So I just made a quick return line that goes from the regulator to the hard return line on the chassis. And right here, as you could tell, there's a sensor on it. And this is the ethanol content sensor or the flex fuel sensor. So this is gonna tell us how much ethanol is in our fuel. And as you can see, I kind of just like hose clamped it on. These are actually GM quick disconnects. And it's like one of those things that everyone does, but no one ever admits to it. Where instead of using the GM quick connect, you kind of just slip the hose on it because it's a super tight fit. So call me out for it, I don't care. It works and it's fine. Using these D-Works fittings, they go on so much easier than like all the cheap fittings I've ever used in my life.
Really?
Yeah, so nice.
That's super helpful, especially because making AN lines is annoying.
Have you ever used like cheap AN lines? It feels like they're crunching and it's like the worst feeling ever. This was like butter. Screw this in. So now the sensor's kind of hidden down there, which is nice because they're kind of ugly. And then when we wire it, it's gonna go right up into the harness, into the ECU, so we're good to go. So the next part is gonna be the feed. It's super easy. We're coming off the line on the chassis, going to our fuel filter, and then fuel filter to rail. So this thing, probably just gonna hide it underneath the intake manifold somewhere. So we'll probably just like stuff it out of the way and zip tie it up, and then end up going to that fitting right there.
All right, cool. Check it out. Let me see that real quick. See how you can see it on some of these. I've already done it. Let's see how we folded it over and then it created an overlap. I can take and cut through both layers at the same time, and it'll leave me looking just like that with a perfect seam I can weld up. All right. Now I just have to tack up the ends of all my my relief cuts. Make sure they're all flush. I'll probably put a vice grip on it. and then break all my tacks and take it out and start welding. Alright, now I gotta clean up my mess. Got a bunch of dirty tacks on there. Trim up this line that we traced out earlier. Well, yeah, it's coming along.
Alright, so just like everything else with this engine, we're just gonna hide it underneath the intake manifold. So like, underneath this intake manifold, horrendous, but
From the outside.
from the outside, it's great, right? So we're just gonna mount this up underneath so we don't have to really worry about it. And then it's gonna come down in a very similar location to the fuel pressure regulator. So it comes down right next to the fuel pressure regulator, and we're gonna attach to the chassis when I can figure out which one's to feed and return. So there you go, the fuel system is done. Well, we gotta do the fuel pump, but we don't need to do that to start it. So that's pretty exciting. Now the last thing we need to do is put fluids in it, hook up the power cables, hook up the ECU, put a base map on it, and vroom, it's gonna start first try. It's gotta do it. It's gonna happen.
I believe in you, Jimmy, and your tuning skills.
Thank you, buddy. I mean, these things like to run. The G-Work stuff, such a pleasure working with it. Everything clicked in place, everything fits amazing, everything looks amazing. I'm super happy with it. I couldn't be more thankful to have them, to have their support with this build. So I finally hear the air compressor shut off, which means Brian just finished up cleaning his piece. So let's see it.
We're just about ready to get her starting welded in there.
That thing looks just as messed up as a factory firewall.
Well, shaped like a transmission. But yeah, this line here kind of gives us the profile of the firewall, and then this angle here gives us the profile of the tunnel. So
now we have a nice like uniform base to start off of instead of starting off this crazy jagged weird angle of a firewall.
I was gonna kind of try to weld these up ahead of time and grind them smooth, but I think that might screw me. So in the end, I'm just gonna get it back in and
all right, let's check it
start
out.
welding.
Let's make sure it still fits, because things like to not fit after you finish them.
Yeah, well, I just been tweaking it a little bit. It needs some adjustment kind of going in.
Of course.
You know, I kind of got to find all the tightest areas and
whatever.
Massage the rest to fit.
We got a welder and a flapper disc, dude. We could do it. We could do anything.
Hell yeah, we built a Nissan. Yeah, come back to me when I get it welded in.
Nice. Can we start this thing yet? I want to hear some.
Dude, I was ready to, and then I turned around and saw this side was still blue, so I was like,
oh yeah,
I gotta swap
this
it.
man's got blue couplers. What is you doing,
Ready?
kid?
You know
You're
what?
lucky I have black for you.
I ordered black, and
That's what they all say. That's what they all say. Then he comes to my shop and he steals all my couplers.
I'll buy you more.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. I'm happy to pass the love on. Cause look how good it looks with the black couplers.
Don't let Jimmy clown you like that. He had the Reptar radiator hoses going on. He had them lime green Johns.
He's not wrong.
So how you
Still
gonna clown
got-
this man for the blues?
You still rocking that, or you just swap?
Shut up. We don't talk about that. My valve cover's purple. Come on, I can't say shit.
Oh, there we go. Got him.
You're really blowing it out fine.
Can't be having forest fires around.
Oh!
Jeez. How come you didn't ask me to do that?
Because you were busy editing.
Jeez.
Yeah, you want to be on fire duty?
Jimmy!
Oh.
Jimmy!
All right, we're fast forwarding to like 30 minutes later. We've kind of been all over the place with filming tonight. We've both been just trying to get stuff done. And dude, it's kind of unbelievable to think that that was made from one strip of steel.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think I was gonna make it from one strip of steel.
But you did, and check this thing out.
Yeah. She's there. She's
That thing's
done.
beautiful. Can you see on camera? I know the low light's kind of...
Yeah,
There we
kinda.
go. So as you can see, it's welded to the firewall, and now we have this nice, beautiful shape and plane that Brian can now build off of and then reach all the way back to this point. So it's all about stages. You know, you can't just do it all at once. You gotta come together and really make something. It's really showing. This thing's gorgeous.
Thank you, man. I'm pretty excited. It's got the pump for the starter, which I wanted, and came out pretty clean. So there's a couple of spots I gotta go back and touch up the welds, but.
So what's the next step, Bean? Are we gonna do
next-
another bridge like this, but in the middle?
I was thinking about it. I need to do a little bit more thinking.
All right.
But yeah, the next step is really to go from there to there.
Hey, as long as we're making progress, I'm happy. So.
Same.
All right. Well, today was a good day. I got the fuel line. The fuel lines took way too long, but I got them done. Brian made a big portion on the trans tunnel, and we helped Mike get his front mount on, and it looks amazing. So
It looks so good. I'm so happy. Thank you.
Good job, Mike.
Nice work, kid. So we're both tired. We're both hungry, so we're gonna go home and end it here. So you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. Huge shout out to D-Works once again. Their shit rocks, and that's it. Have a good night.
We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
I'm cold-hearted and broke, I cold started and choke. I grow part with my soul, the vote harder to grow. I know why, hey, I know why, hey, yeah. I'm cold-hearted and broke, I cold started and choke. I grow part with my soul, the vote harder to grow. I know why.